Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Hi, this is Jenna.
And this is Kelly.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is One Diviner from Murder.
I'm excited. I'm curious. Diviner.
Yes,
okay.
Diviner. And you're going to like where it's at because maybe you can go and see these things that are close to you. Yes. Don't look so scared.
Hey, we just went on a ghost tour on our vacation, and it was pretty sweet. So
How fun.
It was totally fun. I thought my kids were going to be freaked out, but...
Was that the pictures with the cool Victorian home and stuff?
Yes. It is a haunted house, and it is currently being lived in by somebody. They live on the second floor. I mean, it's a huge freaking house. So they live on the second and third floor. And the first floor, they allow for
tours.
The tours to come in. And apparently their teenage son, who's now in college, doesn't like to come home because they really like to talk to him. Like they weren't menacing, but he was like...
He's like, this is just annoying.
This is annoying. He was annoyed. And he was like, I can't get any rest at home. So
wow. He's lucky they didn't follow him. Like, yeah,
that's
come
true.
With you. Yeah.
But it did kind of scare us all because they kind of mentioned that somebody lived there, but they didn't mention that they had a cat.
Oh.
And so when the cat walked out, we're like, Gavin goes, is that a ghost? Like,
Oh,
no,
cute.
and she's like, it's a real cat.
It's okay, honey.
It was awesome. I think he
cute.
really wanted it to be
He
a ghost
wanted
cat.
it to be. Yes, he wanted. Maybe he'll say that at school. He'll be like, I saw a ghost cat.
Exactly. Oh, he got to use an EMF reader.
Fun.
He was on it. He was doing it.
Did it show any...
We got the EMF reader didn't read anything. There were some other things that they did in the house, but we also went to a cemetery that has a lot of activity.
Yes.
And they had these rods that you could use to ask questions. I've never seen those before.
No, yeah.
These two metal rods that you hold out, and you ask the spirits to tell you what would be yes and what would be no, and they move left to right, so you know which one, and then you'd ask them questions, and we all tried it, and it worked on all of us.
That's wild.
But we didn't ask anything like horrible. Like Gavin asked things like, do you like the trees around here? Like, stuff like that. Do you get up early? I was like,
you get up early?
I wouldn't.
I'm forever sleeping, so no, I do not.
Right? I did make a announcement to my family last week or the week before that I had seen the thing on Facebook that said that they will bury you in a bra, and I said, I already mentioned that I don't want to be buried,
right?
But
a bra,
I don't even want to be cremated in a bra. Like, just leave that shit off. I don't need that shit.
Don't burn it to my body forever.
Right?
Then you're like a ghost walking around in a bra.
If I'm going to come back and haunt shit, I'm doing it without a bra.
Get a beautiful gown or something. Yes, braless.
Yes.
One of those really fancy 1950s nightgowns.
Oh, that would be
all
nice.
Satin.
I don't want any kind of think of all those poor women who are wearing like those bustiers and those things that cinch you and all that shit.
No.
For eternity. Hell no.
No. Let's go comfy. Just keep me my sweats.
God. Right? Totally. Don't put shoes on me. I've always preferred barefoot, so I don't even bother with socks.
You'll be the tripping ghost.
Yes, but please do my toes. I hate when my toes aren't done. So
True.
It's just what my toes
Just give me a pedicure.
Just give me a pedicure. Will they do that? I don't know. Anyway, okay, we've gotten...
Yeah, that's okay. It goes with the subject. So this is perfect. Okay. Yes.
All right, sorry.
Okay. So we're going back to the 70s. This is February 21st of 1977. Wow. Yeah.
I know. I was starting to hear the waka wakas in my head. And the
might have to add that in.
Right.
So it's about 9 p.m. in the Lincoln Park area of Chicago.
Oh, I am familiar. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so the fire department is called to a lakefront apartment complex when smoke is smelled. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Fires in Chicago are not.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good history.
No.
Let's not do that again.
We have a bad history with fires in Chicago.
Cows. Yeah.
And cows? Oh, and cows.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, and cows. Okay, right.
All right.
All right. So we're talking fire.
So firefighters are heading to this apartment on the 15th floor. 15th floor. And I'm guessing they probably had to run the stairs, but, you know.
Oh, yeah, because they don't usually let you. Plus, could you see them all in the elevator just like,
we're going to get there. We'll get there. So the 15th floor, firefighters find the source. The apartment that it was in was ransacked, like completely obliterated. Things are everywhere, but it's not because of the fire. You could tell, like...
The fire didn't ransack it?
Right. Nope, the fire was like, I'm just sticking to this one spot. Excuse you. So... it was the fire was concentrated in a corner of their living room and on a mattress, so I'm guessing it didn't have enough airflow to really get blazing.
Okay.
So after putting out the fire, firefighters flip the mattress and they find a burned naked body of a woman
under the mattress
with a kitchen knife sticking out of her chest. So she's naked under the mattress. Somebody had thrown the mattress on top of her with a bunch of clothes and lit it on fire. And
shit. Also would have put the knife further.
I
know, that's what I'm picturing. Because it's...
yeah.
Okay.
Ouch. Yeah, pressure.
At that point, it probably didn't make a difference.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know, right through the chest. So police arrived to investigate the scene, and they dust for prints, but any viable ones had been burned up in the fire. This is pre-DNA, so... Upon entry into the apartment, from the look of the place, although ransacking, the fire itself did not do. No fire ransack.
Right, the fire didn't go through with all the drawers and tip things over, right? Okay.
But because of the mess, they thought, maybe the killer's looking for something or he's robbing the tenant.
Right.
So they scour the place for clues, and the only thing they can find is a note scrawled on some paper that said, "Get theater tickets for AS." The initials AS.
Okay, but that could have been the resident.
Right.
Right?
Could have been anybody. Yeah.
Like, also, don't forget the milk and butter.
Right. Plus...
I'm surprised. Okay, that's a clue. All right.
Yeah, it's a clue. Plus, Chicago's ginormous, and, I mean, how many AS?
Which theater?
Yeah.
Which theater? Which AS?
Which AS? It's just a lot.
Are we talking movie theater? Are we talking, like,
Broadway
opera?
style?
Are we talking Broadway? We got a lot to choose from.
There's a lot to choose from. Yeah, it's not like it's Wyoming.
Okay.
Where there's one movie theater. Anyway.
In the whole state?
Pretty much.
Come on, guys. We got 4 hours before our movie starts. We gotta go.
Oh, God. It was a long time. Our movie theater was 45 minutes away, which, I mean, that's like a city, but, but we were going through, like, snowstorms to get to it. It was ridiculous.
Right. How bad do you want to see this movie? How bad do you want to see this movie?
You had to want to get away to do so. So the victim, they find out, is Teresita Basa.
Teresita?
Teresita. Isn't that pretty? Yeah.
I like it.
She was born in 1929 in the Philippines, where she was the only child of a well-to-do family.
Oh.
I know. That'd be nice. So she had graduated from Assumption College in Manila. That's so close to consumption that it makes... It's like, oh, I don't want to go to consumption. No.
I thought it was, no, that's Ascension. Like where you guys send to...
Yeah,
okay.
that would
So Assumption, sense. It's like, I assume you will graduate? We assume you're going to do okay here.
We have an assumption that you might do all right. She goes to this college in Manila. I think it was probably for music, because then she moved to the U.S. in the 1960s to study music.
Oh, good for
more
her.
colleges, yeah. So she led a content and unassuming life in the States. It would be nice. And while pursuing a master's degree in music at Loyola University.
Hey, I went there for short time.
But you did for a bit. That's Indiana, right?
No, that's downtown Chicago.
Why did I think it was Indiana? What is Indiana?
That's
not Purdue.
Yes, Purdue is in Indiana, but Notre Dame. Is that what you're thinking of?
I was thinking Purdue because I think
Loyola is in a not so great.
I do remember seeing it downtown, and it's like it's this beautiful campus, and then you don't want to step outside the campus. Like,
yes, that's what they told us at orientation.
Oh, fine, yeah.
And I thought,
did not leave.
My God, this is how I die. I won't make it past freshman year.
Oh my God, maybe I do not want to go to that school. Yeah, scary.
So-
but it's a really, really good school, so that's bizarre.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it's a nice school, and it's fucking expensive as hell.
Yes.
And anyway.
And it's dangerous outside.
And
Yeah.
it's dangerous outside. Stay in school, kids.
Stay
it
in
saves
school.
lives.
That's right. This is your... That's a good idea. You might die if you leave, so you better just stay in school. Yeah, so she's working on her master's degree in music there. And
good for her.
At the same time, she's also working as a respiratory therapist at Edgewater Hospital.
Jeez.
I know, this lady's ambitious.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I am impressed.
Yeah, she's amazing. So she occasionally dated, but she never had married.
Who had time?
She was like, I am into music. I'm not into men. I've got so much going on. I don't have time for this shit. At the time of her death, she was only 47. We know that age.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that just suddenly hit a...
Yeah,
Okay.
nerve. Yeah. So everything seems to be going as planned for Teresita. She enjoyed her hospital job. She occasionally held piano lessons in her apartment. She had a lot of friends. She did a lot with people she loved. I don't think she was near with any of her family since they were still in probably the Philippines.
they were still...
Since she had been found naked, investigators assumed that she'd been sexually assaulted, but during her autopsy, no markings of an assault were found, but I'm not sure
Maybe
if
she
that...
just got out of the shower. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. You don't know how... And
Or hey, she lived alone.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
you could be naked.
You could be naked, right?
By the state of her apartment, it was apparent there had been a vicious struggle for her life. So they don't think the ransacking was just due to like a robbery. They think she was fighting for her life. So friends and family, they couldn't think of anyone with any reason to harm her. She had no qualms with her family. Her classmates at Loyola and coworkers at Edgewater Hospital had nothing but kind words for her. She was one of those like everybody liked, and they couldn't think of a single person that would have.
Which is why I know that I will be fine.
Right.
Because when they interview people, they'll be like, that girl was fucking crazy. So, I mean,
had so many enemies that...
let me give you a list of
booklet.
possibilities.
Me too. So the night of her murder, Ruth Loeb, I think,
Okay.
had spoken with Teresita on the phone. They were good friends, probably best friends, and the two had chatted for about 30 minutes. Ruth said that Teresita was expecting a friend to come over, but she didn't give any further details about who he was or the purpose of his visit.
Oh,
But-
so was it a friend?
I
Or
know.
A friend with benefits?
Yes.
Or...
And why wasn't she telling her bestie about it?
Mm-hmm.
But does sound like it was a
slumming it?
male. Yeah. Maybe
She
she was
was-
like, I don't want you to see this
I
guy.
don't want you to judge me.
Yeah. I'm just here for the D.
Just for the...
So, yeah, police are left a little baffled because she doesn't have any romantic partners to dig up that anyone knew of anyway. She was keeping something a secret. She had no enemies. There's not any evidence, and there's just nowhere to take the case. So,
Shit.
I know, and since Teresita lived by herself, no one really knew what was in her apartment that might have gone missing.
Oh, right. They don't know what to...
Right, so it's hard to say if
Her
something
friend
was stolen.
wasn't familiar with what was in her
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was just like, you don't pay attention when you're there. You're just drinking or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Or, yeah.
Yeah. But they didn't dismiss the possibility that it was robbery. So at this point, case goes cold. It's like, what do we do? So months after Teresita's death, this detective, I called him Babyface because, oh my God, the pictures of him. I was like, oh, how do I check your Babyface? You're so
Is he
cute.
like the Doogie of... the Doogie Howser of detectives?
I think so. He looks so young. But his name was Joe Stacula. He was on the homicide team, and he comes to work one morning and he finds a note on his desk telling him to contact Evanston police about the Teresita Basa case. So calls them. They tell him to contact a Dr. Jose Chua in Skokie.
Okay.
So detectives show up at Dr. Chua's house, and he and his wife invite them in with some rather strange news.
Okay.
Dr. Chua is really embarrassed, and he seems very hesitant to talk to the detectives.
But a woman is dead. Like,
Right.
just
spit it out.
Spit it out, man.
So that makes them uneasy. They're like, is this guy about to confess or something? What is going on? So after a bit, the doctor begins his story, and he tells the pair of investigators that his wife, Remebio, so she went by Remy. Remy. His wife, Remy, was having some strange things happen to her. So they're like, how is this relevant to the Bassa murder? But, you know, he just wouldn't spit it out because he's embarrassed, and he's like, I don't know if I can tell you guys this, but he continues, and I'm sure they're like, I hope we're not wasting our time. This is our only lead. But it just so happens that Remy was also from the Philippines, and that may or may not have mattered to what happened next. But Dr. Chua proceeded to tell him that his wife was being possessed with the spirit of Teresita Bassa.
I'm sorry, what?
Right? That's exactly what they were like.
Come again?
What? Say, what? How? Oh.
Say what now?
Possession, you say. What does that look like?
Not where we thought you were going with this.
Oh, we thought you actually had something of a lead. So Remy, the wife, she claimed she was at the hospital. Turns out she also worked at Edgewater Hospital.
Oh, okay. I was like, there's got to be some connection.
And
her
the doctor
spirit
did too.
Wasn't just like
just rando person.
The Chicago neighborhood.
like who's open? Whose portal is open? Is your portal open?
It's got an opening.
It's got an opening. Yeah, so Dr. Chua was also a doctor at the Edgewater Hospital.
Okay.
That's kind of how they knew her. I think they just kind of knew her. But Remy claims she's at the hospital taking a moment to take a nap when Teresita appeared to her as an apparition in the room. And she could see her clearly, but nothing happened. Like, it just kind of disappeared. So that was the first incident.
Okay.
So she kind of was like, okay, was I just tired? And this was on my mind because she had died.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then another day, Remy told detectives that Teresita began coming to her in her dreams, like a lot.
Oh,
So she saw more than just dreams, though. More like visions that were like super intense and memorable. Okay. Felt like real life.
Ooh.
Dr. Chua, according to Remy and Dr. Chua, Remy had taken a nap one day. It makes me laugh. And began speaking in a voice that was not her own. Doctor. I don't know how.
You instantly went like, oh, doctor. And I'm like, Minnie Mouse.
Hi.
What if she had a high-pitched voice or something?
But Dr. Chua was... Dr. Chua was there at the time, and he's like hearing this voice coming from her, and Remy's like totally asleep, but she's speaking this voice. So the voice claimed to be that of Teresita. Wouldn't you just be like slapping the person? Wake up! What are you doing? What are you talking about?
This isn't cool.
Don't be scary. This is Teresita.
There is no Teresita, only Zul.
Yes, only Zul. So the voice said they must go to the police, and she named her killer. She spoke the name out loud. She said it's Allen Showery. Showery is how they said it. Yes.
Well, at least, thank you. A ghost who gives some specifics.
Yes, instead
Don't
of all this
just get
vagueness
this whole...
shit. Like, find the path to blah, blah. Yeah, no.
Right? Exactly.
Find my killer. That asshole was Allen Showery.
Right, not
Showery.
this like riddle bullshit. Like, and his address is 127.
And then it cuts off. What?
I know, right?
Yeah, so the voice went on to say he was an orderly at the hospital they all worked at. So
they might have recognized his name.
Right. So Dr. Chua reiterated that his wife didn't seem to be in a dream, but rather that she was absolutely possessed. Like, she...
Weird.
Didn't seem to be in her mind at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fucking creepy.
And when she would... Right. And when she would wake up, she wouldn't remember anything. Yeah. So he didn't go immediately to the police because, duh. I mean, yeah, he doesn't want to sound completely bonkers, so...
Right. He's like, I have a reputation. I would just like to see patients and shit.
Doctor. I know.
But if they have no leads and they can tell nothing's going anywhere.
And they can check out the name. So Dr. Chua was also doubtful that the voice was actually Teresita. He said time would go by and the trance-like state would overcome Remy, and then she would tell him again that the Allen Showery is the killer. So eventually, it kept happening. He's like, I know, you keep telling me the same thing, but...
Give me the lottery numbers. Give me something I can use.
I want something good. I don't care about this dead case.
Stop singing the same story.
So he eventually decided to challenge the voice, and he told the voice that he couldn't go investigators without proof. So you need to give me proof.
Oh, shit. He was like, nope.
Nope, you need to tell me something good. And so the voice tells him, I have proof. When he killed me, he stole my jewelry and gave it to his girlfriend.
Rude.
Oh,
sorry.
Rude. At least go sell it.
Sorry. I feel like, I'm sorry. Are you telling me this is somebody else's? Sorry.
This is used jewelry. This is
so rude.
Are we in a thrifting relationship now?
Okay.
I'm only worth sloppy seconds.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Even though it was unusual, it's the only lead the detectives had.
Okay.
Investigators actually found Allen Showery, and they brought him in for questioning. In the beginning, Allen denied he'd ever been to Teresita's apartment. But then he changed that, and he's like, oh, I was headed to Teresita's apartment to fix her TV. But she called to cancel, so instead I went home to fix an electrical problem. But then he changed his story again, and he said, I did go to her place to fix her TV, but I had forgotten the right tools, so I couldn't do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know, get a story and you stick to it.
Yeah.
Because that's always a dead giveaway.
Yeah, now he's like, I don't remember which story I told. I told them all. So... When checking his background, Allen indeed was an orderly working at the same hospital as Teresita, Remy, and Dr. Chua. And Allen did have a girlfriend named Yanka Kamluk.
Oh my God, where are these names coming from? What
or Yanka.
Okay. I'm
going
to keep my thought to myself.
All right.
I'm not going to comment. There are
probably Yankas out there
coming out in my mind, and I'm just gonna
yank them out. All right. So the background check on Allen Showery showed that he lived near Teresita.
Okay.
So that's a little.
It's a big city, though.
Interesting.
People live.
True.
Okay.
I mean, they're heavily populated apartment complexes all right around there. So
right, and they worked at the same place, so you know you usually live somewhere near.
Yeah, where you work.
I'm letting them have that one. That's all.
I think that's smart. Okay, so detectives go to talk to Yanka. Allen. Laughing. Showery's girlfriend. Maybe it's Yanka. I don't know. Yanka. She didn't remember anything about an electrical problem at their apartment, and she's like, Allen wouldn't have been able to fix it anyway if there was an electrical problem. So that version is a lie.
So unless her TV just needed to be plugged in, he was not her guy.
Plus, he had said that he had gone home instead of going to fix Teresita's TV because they were having an electrical problem at home. And Yanka's like, he would not be the guy I'd call.
Is by calling an electrician.
Right. I would not call him.
Has she gotten any new jewelry lately? Is it their anniversary or anything? I mean,
there's a little bit about that, yeah. So when asked if Allen had given her any jewelry, she pointed out the pendant and the ring she was wearing at the time they were interviewing her.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, he gave me these as a late Christmas gift.
Like a February late Christmas gift?
Yeah.
Wait, a late Christmas gift?
Very late Christmas gift.
Valentine's Day. Dude, oh boy.
Yeah, it should have been Valentine's Day. You're right.
Dumbass. Better than a late Christmas present, an early Valentine's Day present. Boys, listen.
Listen. Valentine's Day right in February.
Although you can't miss a Christmas present and then try to make up with it for a Valentine's Day present and have it think I don't remember that you missed Christmas.
True. maybe
you
this
still
was
remember.
Yeah, and then the Valentine's one will come near Easter.
Everything gets pushed back.
So police call friends of Teresita to see if any of them could identify the jewelry, and sure enough, when they saw the items, they said they were indeed Teresita's. Yeah, so
It was like an initial, it was like a T, and her name starts with a Y. But he said it stood for true love.
That's right. Yes, you are true, Yanka. Yes. So when police told Allen about the new evidence against him, the jewelry, that his girlfriend said he lied about any electrical problem they had, Allen caved, and he gave a full confession to killing Teresita.
Wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
Folded like a...
Yeah.
I almost said folded like a rug, but that's not the same. Folded like a rug. You lie like a rug.
Yes.
Fold, whatever.
Fold like paper?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so Allen said he decided he was going to raid Teresita's house and steal her valuable items because he needed the money to pay rent. And since Teresita was expecting him to come fix her TV and had apparently decided to hand him the theater tickets as a thank you gift, she let him in willingly. So AS was on that note.
But why her? It wasn't like she was
Right. Yeah, but he was like, oh, it's an opportunity, I guess. So
right.
He said that as soon as Teresita turned around, Allen beat her. He told the cops that he had stripped her naked to make it seem like there had been a sexual assault. Don't know why.
Okay.
Then he stabbed her once in the chest. However, on ransacking her place, he still didn't find anything worth enough to pay his rent.
Oh.
He had only found $30, so he took the jewelry to make the murder more worthwhile.
Wow.
I know.
Did he take the TV? No, it was broken. That's right.
It was broken, yeah.
It was broken.
Didn't need that. Allen Showery's trial began on January 21st of 1979. The defense tried to take the possession piece out of Remy. They wanted to throw it out of court, which you would kind of think they'd have to, but the judge allowed it.
Really? Well, because
Yes.
I wonder if they took it out, then everything that comes after it.
Yeah, wouldn't make sense.
Then they could just dismiss the whole friggin' case.
Pretty
how
much.
would they?
Yeah, how would they prove they
discovery
got all
or
this?
whatever, right?
So by the fifth day of the trial, Allen said he'd only confessed the crime after police had fed him information and threatened to arrest him and his pregnant girlfriend on murder charges. Which
She was pregnant and he gave her stolen jewelry?
yeah.
Sorry, I'm so offended for her.
But one thing about this too, he is a black man.
Okay.
It's the 70s.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to, he's trying to say there's prejudice and they're not treating him.
Yeah, I kind of wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that some stuff might have happened from what I heard later. So as you can imagine, the jury had trouble with the possession information.
Right.
And they were deadlocked. So after...
Can't imagine why they had issues.
only 4 of us believe it could happen. I don't know. So after 4 weeks, the trial ended in a mistrial.
Frickety, frackety, frick. Okay.
And in what might have been the stupidest move of his life besides killing Teresita, Allen pled guilty while awaiting a new trial. So, I know. I don't know. He could have gotten away with, I don't know. So he's sentenced to 14 years for the murder and 4 years each for aggravated arson and robbery. Rumors passed around at the time said that he decided to plead guilty after Teresita's spirit paid him a visit in prison.
Oh.
You motherfucker, you better say you're guilty. But as so often happens in the state, he was released after serving less than 5 years.
Fuck, for murder?
For murder. And aggravated arson and robbery. So he was let out in 1983.
Holy shit.
But many people feel like Allen was actually set up to take the fall for this.
Oh.
So Remy Chua, the woman who kept being possessed by Teresita, she, it was a respiratory nurse at Edgewater Hospital. She worked alongside Teresita, and she also knew Allen. And there were reports that Remy felt uncomfortable and even scared of Allen while working with him. And yeah, there were reports that Allen had complained about the quality of Remy's work. So he had put official complaints in on her at work.
So I was going to say, but the victim named her assailant unless she didn't.
Yeah, unless Remy knew him and Remy didn't want to work with him anymore.
But there was a scratch paper saying AS.
True.
But they also could have just been friends.
Very true. And who knows?
And so they could have been friends, and it could have been legit that she was like, could you please just look at my TV? And he was like, all right, I suck at it, but I'll give it a shot. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have any tools, but I'll bring
I mean...
But...
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? Have you tried?
Right. So it could have been like the murder happened and then Remy was like cooking up this idea of how she could get rid of Allen. But, and furthermore, Remy had been to Teresita's apartment before for a party. So she could have seen the jewelry and knew something or seen Teresita wear it.
Was he at the party?
I don't know. And could they have stolen it somehow from her and given it? I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
But initially hearing about the possession and stuff, thinking that Remy had no prior knowledge of Teresita, it would be like fascinating and extraordinary, but kind of muddies the water with them like knowing each other.
Yeah.
In my mind. Yeah. Then again, like you were saying, would a spirit choose a random open portal of a person or someone they knew, and who also probably knew the killer.
I'd go to the pregnant girlfriend.
That would have been even better, bitch. Do you know what your man up to?
Right. Yeah. That letter T necklace stands for Teresita.
And that was mine. Yeah. So according to an article in Anecdotes, it's ANECDOTEZ.com, anecdotes.com. While Remy's story sounds far-fetched, stories of ghosts and spirits are extremely common in the Philippines.
Oh.
And, Remy was also from the Philippines.
Maybe they're just more in touch.
Yep. So they differ per ethnic group in the country, but the main concept of souls in the Filipino culture...
What? What?
The Filipino culture includes both souls of the living and souls of the dead. So unlike in the West, where ghosts are normally considered evil and spooky, the ghosts of the dead in different Filipino ethnic groups are actually regarded in high esteem. So,
are you saying that you can be possessed by someone who is not dead? Is that what you meant by ghosts or spirits?
They do kind of believe that there's live spirits and spirits of the dead, which is so weird to me. So they consider I read that some of them have like what they consider up to 5 different souls.
That's a lot of souls.
I know. That's a lot to manage. So it gets really crazy. But some of the ghosts are considered ancestral spirits like us that guide their loved ones and the community, and they're kind of worshipped. But they had so many funny ones. I have to find some of them because I was like, what? Once they believe
that would be handy, almost like Alexa, where you could like drop in on somebody.
Totally.
And don't forget to pick up the...
Totally. But, it said on there like, oh, they're not considered evil there. But then, they have things like the gnomes, almost like gnomes. That was bad. I'll pick that up.
Gnomes, okay.
Or elves.
Elves.
That play...
Fairies. Just keep naming mythical
pranks.
creatures.
They do. It's like they have that. And then they have goblins. This was the best one. Nuno. This is from that anecdotes.com. It's a tiny goblin that dwells on top of anthill mounds.
I'm sorry, what? What?
Anthill mounds. Little tiny
That's
goblin.
pretty small.
He's an itty bitty goblin. And the ghost is depicted as an old, long-bearded man who's easily disturbed and angered. He's like a troll.
Like a tiny little gnome, garden gnome? Like a very tiny garden
Like he's a tiny little ant troll. I don't know, but kids are Filipino children are encouraged to keep quiet next to it and say things that's like, please let me pass, sir. And any kids who destroy antehills by kicking or even worse, urinating them can be cursed. So their feet might swell up, their pee may turn black. Yeah, there was a ton of these types of things. There were a ton of these, and I'm like, what? This is crazy.
I'm sorry. I am not laughing at this.
No, at their culture.
At their culture. I am laughing at the idea of my child coming home saying my pee is black, and I'll be like, well, what have you been peeing on?
Yeah.
Been peeing on gnomes?
You've been peeing on anthills again? See, it's all your own fault. Mm-hmm. It would be pretty useful as a parent to have all these. I was like, oh, man.
Right? I also wouldn't downplay the possibility that that's where they started.
I'm sure. They're like, we need a way to tell these kids to quit killing things.
Right? I mean, do we or do we not use the whole, if you're not in bed by the time Santa comes, he's not stopping here. I mean,
exactly.
Get your ass in bed.
Oh my God, there's so many good ones. Right, yep, now.
Do, okay?
Yeah, another is the Kumakatak. Something. Sorry.
Totally had a mouthful of water.
Kumakakatak.
And I almost died. Okay.
Kumakatak.
And that is...
And they are a group of 3 creepy figures in robes who tend to knock on doors in the middle of the night and deliver bad juju. Here you go. Here's your bad juju. So the hooded trio will knock 3 times on your front door, usually to signal an upcoming death of a family member. That one's creepy.
Shit.
You could mess with people.
I don't like that, but I am picturing like, well, for 1, 3. It's like the ghost of Christmas present, future, and past, right?
Totally.
And then they're like, but I like I just saw a meme recently where it was something like, I'd like my job to be like karma delivery person or something. And that's what it sounds like. You're like,
perfect.
They
karma delivery, juju. Boop,
so it was like,
got you some bad juju.
Exactly, right?
Open
Not
your door.
a bad gig. Not a bad gig.
No, that'd be kind of fun. Oh, but in Chicago, because of this, they had a walking tour of Edgewater's spectral past.
Oh.
Since the hospital is now defunct. But I'm not sure if it's still standing or whether they still do the tours.
Oh,
but
if the tour goes through there, if there's something else in that building now, or if it's just...
But if they're still doing it, I think that's something we have to go do.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've ever heard Edgewater, so it's been...
I'm assuming it's near Evanston, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would assume it's, northern suburbs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. So I have a ton of sources because I was like trying to dig up more info anywhere I could. There was like hardly any info on this. And I was like,
How'd you find this one?
Good question. An Old Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh.
It was on, Yes.
Oh,
one of the original old ones. Yeah. So yeah, it was unsolvedmysteries.fandom.com where I got more information.
All right.
ChicagoTribune.com, ChicagoNow.com, allthat'sinteresting.com, DNAinfo.com, and anecdotes.com. So,
oh my gosh.
I searched and searched for more info because it was such a short thing, and I'm like, there's got to be more.
But a cool story.
It is a cool story.
I like it. That is a cool one. I like that one.
Wonder whether poor Allen was forced into confession, but how would he have had the jewelry and stuff?
It's still, how would he have had what reason would he have had to take the jewelry? I mean, I know people do false confessions.
Totally.
All the time, but...
Plus back then it could have been a beaten him
right
confession.
But his girlfriend had the jewelry.
Yeah, so there's something to it. And it wasn't like he said that, I got it from Remy, she gave it to me, or I stole it from the break room at the hospital. That would have made more sense.
Right. If he had that, I would have said, you'd think he would have said.
Yeah. So
she asked me to pawn this for her. She needed money. I don't know, something. So it
seems like he might have been the guy, but then he only gets out in 5 years, where there's probably drug dealers from the 70s still in there.
Exactly.
At the same place, and you're like, really?
What the hell? Oh my gosh.
I know.
No, I like that. That was a good story.
Yeah, it's kind of weird and creepy, but also like...
That's our first story with possession involved in it.
It is.
Not our first one with, links to the afterlife. There's the whole one with the kids We use the Ouija board.
Yes. Oh, that was a good one.
That's good. I like that one.
Thank you.
Hey, Oddies. Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.